Good evening, everyone. Hey, hey. Good evening. It is 6:30, and as promised, I am here on live, Facebook Live. I have not done a live in I don't know how long. So this is I'm not gonna say new to me, but it's been a long time since I've been on Facebook Live. So here I am. So good evening, everybody. Just wanted to come on and see how everyone is doing, how you are holding up with this coronavirus. How are you doing in your quarantine? How you're doing at home? I know a lot of people are watching videos and are doing a lot of virtual activities and virtual trainings and all of that. So I thought, you know what, let me just go ahead and just jump on here really quick and just share some things that I've been meaning to share for a very, very long time. But sometimes life just happens and, things happen and I never go live. So here I am because guess what? I'm at home and this is what I do. All right. So just a little bit, if you don't know who I am or know what I do, I am Lawana Harris, and I actually my life purpose is, of course, enlighten, encourage, empower others to live to their fullest potential, and I do that in everything that I do, every aspect of my life and ministry, in my corporate life, what I do, just overall. And everything that I do is connected to that life purpose. And so what I do with that is, when I offer inspiring messages or when I offer encouraging points or encouraging messages to different people, everything is tied to that. I enlighten you, I encourage you, and I empower you to go out and do what God has called you to do. And what you have within you to do. So that's what I'm here for tonight. And as you can see in the title, and I'm not going to be before you long because I know people start getting kind of antsy after about 5 or 6 minutes. I know I do, but just wanted to come on and share 6 behaviors that I have come across or that I have seen and learned of a virtuous woman, just because of my personal journey and because of things that I've gone through personally. Now, is this just a regular, just a final list? It's not, because you probably have other different behaviors that maybe you have learned yourself as a virtuous woman, and you may have seen in other people. So this is not the final list, but these are 6 things that I have seen and that I have experienced myself in becoming and still becoming a woman of virtue. And before all of that, what is a woman of virtue? When you think of the word virtue, when you think of what that is, the definition that I used is a couple of things that I came across. It says a beneficial quality of or power over things. So when you think of yourself, you have qualities within yourself that is very powerful, that sometimes when they are not activated, it loses their power. So when you have that beneficial quality of whatever was inside of you, you need to activate that. And you need to make sure that you are living and operating in the power that God has given you. And then the second part of that is having or showing high moral standards. And this also comes, the high moral standards or the virtue comes when you are in those pressure moments. The true virtue of a woman comes out when you are uncomfortable. The true virtue of a woman comes out when you are in chaotic situations, when you are in situations where you are just like, I'm unsure of what this next step is, but God, I trust you. And so those are the things that come out in those particular areas. There's just a true virtuous woman. And they also come out when you are in those moments when you like, I have no idea what I'm doing. But I'm still going to trust and I'm still going to do what I know to do until until I can get to where I need to be. And so the first thing is when we're exemplifying a woman of virtue, it does not mean that or it's not all about what you have on. It's not about how your hair is. I know some of us are like, man, during this quarantine, the salons are not open. The barbershops are not open. You can't get your hair done. And I understand that, and it's very real, seriously, but that does not make you a virtuous. It enhances your virtue, but it does not make you that virtuous woman. What your shoes look like, what you wear, that does not make you the virtuous woman. The materialistic things that we like. Now, again, all of those things are good. They're good, and again, they enhance that virtue of what's on the inside, but that does not make who you are. And so, some of the things that I talked about, some of the things that I would like to talk about, are just those different behaviors. What does that even look like? What does that even feel like? What does that mean to be a woman of virtue? And again, I would also encourage you to go and look at what does that mean for you? These are the things that I have discovered for me. But for you, what does that look like? What does it mean for you to have or show that high moral standard for you personally? What does that mean to really walk in your power? So I would definitely encourage you to go do that and to really look at that for yourself. So the number one, the one that I did that talked about that a virtuous woman is a servant. When you are living a life of virtue, you are serving others. You are serving others out of your purpose. You are serving others out of the overflow that you have for yourself. You can't serve out of your empty cup. And I always say this. And so people that know me know that I always say that you cannot serve out of an empty cup. You have to serve out of the saucer. That means everything that's within you should overflow into the saucer so that you can serve others, not out of the deficit, but out of the abundance and out of the overflow of what's going on in your life. So you serve others, you serve, and that's part of your purpose. And so if you don't know what your purpose is, just start somewhere. Start, giving. Starts with people that you know that are close to you. Start just if you can give $5, start somewhere. And then as you continue to do that, God will show you those clear things so that you can be able to serve at your highest capacity. But a woman of virtue is definitely a servant. Serving others, serving out of the overflow of your heart, serving out of the overflow that you have for yourself, serving out of the overflow, not in the deficit, because you can't do that. If you think of a bank account, you cannot give what you don't have. And so you have to make sure that you are serving and you're serving others out of the overflow of what you have for yourself. And then number two, so the number one is a virtuous woman is a servant. Number two is a virtuous woman spends time in places that add value to you. If I can't press this home, like a 1000%, you are spending, as a virtuous woman, you are spending time in places and with people that add value, not take away from you. If you have ever been in a situation, if you have ever been in any type of relationship, where it's been about romantic relationship, whether it's a friendship relationship, if you have ever been in that situation where every time you are around this person, you are like, oh my gosh, I'm exhausted when I leave this person. I'm exhausted. I'm tired. That is not adding value to your life. if you are talking to someone, if you're in a relationship, if you are even in business with someone that is not adding value, now also it's a two-way street. So it's not just you taking, but it's also you giving as well. So it should be a two-way street. But if you are in that situation where it's not adding value to you, that's taken away from the power that you have, because now you're not able to operate in the fullness of what you're of how you're supposed to operate. So you have to spend time in places that add value to you. And again, that is what you have to decide for you. For me, things that add value to me are being around positive people, being around people that are talking about, I want to do better, being around people that are talking about developing themselves, being around people that talk about how they love God and how they love other people and how they want to serve and how they want to grow and how they want to, help other people. Value to me. And in addition to that, how can I add value to them? So again, it goes back to number one. It's connected to number one, serving, and then also spending time in places that add value. Okay. So number three is a virtuous woman loves herself genuinely. Y'all. Okay. So this right here, I actually have this this story written out in regards to just how I have learned to love myself genuinely. And that took a whole process. That took over a year of me really sitting down and saying, what does that even look like? For me, I love to be around, again, positive people. I love to eat good. I love to, dance, y'all. I love to do karaoke. I love to do things that make me feel good. And so that is what actually adds to my love bank account. That's what happens. And see, you can't depend on someone else to do that. Now, can they add to it? They can, absolutely. But you cannot depend on other people to add to your bank account. You have to say, man, how can I add to my own bank account? How can I invest in myself? How can I love myself? So again, it goes back to, if you love yourself even more, then that overflow will touch the lives of other people. So again, you cannot love other people out of your deficit. You have to love people out of your overflow that you have, of the love that you have for yourself. And you love yourself genuinely. But that takes a process as well, because you have to learn, what do I love to do? What makes me happy? What makes me feel good? What do I love to do? And that takes a process. That takes a learning process. For me, I had to literally sit down and I had to write out those things that made me feel good. Like what do I love to do? I had to be okay with loving to dance. I have to be okay with it. And people that know me back in the day, when I was in college, I danced every week, every weekend at the club. So I think that's how I stayed kind of thin in college days, because I was always in the club dancing. But that's what I enjoy doing. That's what music makes me happy, makes me feel good. Worship music makes me happy. Sometimes I like to listen to ratchet music. That makes me feel good. But you have to understand, and you have to be okay with that. You have to be okay with loving yourself genuinely. Okay, so that's number 1, 2, and 3. Number 4. Number 4 is a woman of virtue is a woman of influence. Okay, a woman of influence. When you are a woman of virtue, you have some level of influence in whatever realm, in the realm that God has given you, and the atmosphere that God has given you, and the community that God has given you. Whether you know it or not, you have people that are looking up to you. You have people that are following you. And I want to ask you, are you using your platform to influence the world? Are you using the platform that you have to influence the next generation? Are you using the platform that you have to make sure that you are sowing seeds and making sure that the manifestation that comes after you, or comes way after you, is going to be something that's positive? And so you have a level of influence, and you have to make sure that your platform that you have, that you're planting those positive seeds. So you are a woman of influence. Use your position that you're in right now to influence the world. Sometimes we think of these titles. And I had to think about that for myself. Sometimes I was always looking at, okay, I need this title. I need this title. No, where are you right now? What level of influence can you actually use right now? Where are you right now? Your position, your current position. When you think of Esther in the Bible, she used her position and her influence to save a nation. She used her influence to say, you know what? She put herself aside and said, if I perish, I perish. And so when she got to that point, she used her influence where she was. She didn't even though she was the queen, she still used what she had and used her position to save an entire nation. And I say that for you, you have a level of influence. You have a position. Use that. Are you using your platform for positive? Are you using your platform where you are to sow those positive seeds? Okay. So number one, a virtuous woman is a servant. Number two, a virtuous woman spends time in places that add value. Number three, a virtuous woman loves herself genuinely. Number four, a virtuous woman is a woman of position or a woman of influence. And number five, a woman of virtue is always striving for excellence, is always striving for excellence. When I say this, you are always, a woman of virtue is always trying to be better than she was the day before. The only competition that you should have is the competition that you have with yourself. You should only be competing with the person that you were yesterday, the person that you were last week, the person that you were last month, the person that you were last year. When you find yourself competing against other people on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, on YouTube, all these other different places, then you will lose the power that you have within inside of you. So you have to understand that you are always striving for excellence. And what does that mean? That means, do you read a book? Do you sit when you watch videos, when you're watching videos, are you watching it out of wanting to learn? Or are you watching it because you're out of jealousy? You don't want to be jealous. You don't want to be envious. But when you are learning, it should motivate you. It should inspire you. It should move you and put you in a different mindset of, man, you know what? I need to step my game up. I watch so many different videos. I have been, I watch different videos, different YouTube channels. I watch, TED Talks, different videos on Instagram, bits and pieces of people's videos on Facebook. But this stuff inspires me, y'all. And that's the reason why I'm on Facebook now, is because of being inspired by other people, knowing that, okay, this is a platform now. Like, this is where I need to be. These are the things that I need to be doing right now. Offering, being a servant, using my platform to influence and to encourage you all to be your best self. And so that's what I also encourage you all to do, is to strive for excellence. And then again, what does excellence look like? Not my excellence, but what does excellence look like for you? What does that look like for you? And again, you have to figure out all of these different things. What does that look like for you? Not my excellence, not my level of virtue, not what it means to me, but what it does it mean to you. Okay. And so that's number five. And then number six, and this is truly the most important. A woman of virtue is a true worshiper, a worshiper that worships in spirit and in truth. So when you're a servant, you're spending time and you're adding value. You are making sure that you're loving yourself genuinely. You are striving for excellence, but you are also a worshiper. And when you are worshiping in spirit and truth, and the spirit of God is there with you, that's when you'll get understanding. In the presence is when you will get wisdom. In the presence is when you will be able to get clarity about your next season. In the presence of worshiping, that's when you start to understand those things or those people and those situations that you need to cut off. In worship, and that's when you get understanding and knowing those things that you need to do that next step. And so a woman of virtue definitely is a worshiper. I actually have, for me, when I say, worship and fasting and praying, fasting is a challenge for me. It is. Every so often I say, okay, I'm going to fast today. I'm going to fast. But then, okay, it doesn't happen. But that is a challenge for me. And so that is something that I really want to make sure that in this next season, I'm going to have to up my game. But that's a part of worship, giving to other people. That's a part of worship. Anything that you do that's going to uplift into the glory of God, that's a form of worship. I always listen to worship music. That's what touches me. That's what hits me. That's what how I connect also with the Spirit of God and praying and reading and all of that. But you are a true worshiper in worship, and you worship it in spirit and in truth. Also, this is where that time that God will speak to you, and He will show you those things that you've been asking for. And so we have to make sure that the atmosphere that we're in is an atmosphere of worship everywhere that we go. Now, does that say we're just walking around and we're just like, oh, 24/7? No, that's not what I'm saying. That's not saying that you just have to just walk around and just, speaking the word all day long. But you should carry that with you. So when there are times when you are like, I feel the need to pray, or I feel the need to go into worship, then you have that. You're carrying that with you all the time. And so I just wanted to share a few tips. Does anybody have any questions? Anybody, you know what? Does anybody, I think I can have somebody jump on. I'm not sure. I'm not even sure I can have somebody jump on with me. I think I can, but I don't know. But anyway, anybody have any questions, any statements, any comments, any concerns, anything? I'm going to go over these one more time. The 6 behaviors of a woman of virtue. Number one, well, first, let me tell you again to kind of do a summary of what I just talked about. It's not what you have. Being a woman of virtue is not what you have. It's not what you wear. It's not what you put on. It's not your materials. It's not how your hair is. It's not how your hair is done. It's not the earrings that you wear. None of those things. But a woman of virtue is, having or showing high morals or those standards. And then also, it's the beneficial quality or power of a thing. So number one is a virtuous woman is a servant. Number two, a virtuous woman spends time in places that add value. Number three, a virtuous woman loves herself genuinely. A woman of virtue is a woman of influence, and she uses her position to influence the world. And then number five, a woman of virtue is always striving for excellence, always striving to be better than she was the day before. And then number six, a virtuous woman is a worshiper and worships in spirit and in truth. So if there are no questions or comments or anything like that, I would say thank you so much. It was actually on here. I was on here longer than what I thought I was going to be on here. But I'm going to do more videos, you all. I'm going to do because I really feel like this is a platform for me to do this. And so I'm going to do more. I may even call them Thirsty Thursdays or something, or tit tat Tuesdays. I don't know what it's going to be called. I don't know, but it'll be something that I'll come on every week, maybe twice a week, and just kind of share what's on my heart, and do some live videos. I think that'll be all right. All right. So thank you all so much. I appreciate you all for being here. I see Ariel, I see Raven, Bridget, Tiffany, Alicia. If there's anybody else that I did not name, those are the only people that I can actually see. So if you're on here and I didn't call you, I apologize, and I appreciate you for being here, for just taking a few minutes and just watching and listening. Share if you want to. I would appreciate it. And again, thank you all, and I will see you all next week. Have a great weekend and be safe. Wash your hands. Yeah, all that good stuff. All right. Thank you all. Bye bye.